me! You okay? Oh my god! No, you don't. Excuse me!
Zazdyczmy.
Stay low, kids. I'll be safe here.
That is an Avengers level.
This way, kids, follow me! Earth, wind, fire, water? Oh no.
Wait, Mysterio knows we know.
I don't see this ending well.
You were my aunt!
Beck!
William, I've got drones breaking formation. Yeah.
Hope this works!
What I want them to see! Who the hell is that?
I work with Spider-Man, okay? You gotta get on that.
Copy.
Please, still let me know you're alive! I'm trying to get to Beck, but I can't shake these...
Gotcha. What are we doing?
Illusion almost back up.
Your lies are over.
Edith?
Just get... Come on, Peter Tingle.
The drones! No!
Glasses, Parker. How'd you pay for these?
Edith, don't kill me.
Come in.
You okay? Storm!
I go left, you go right! That hurt him!
Okay, I'm on it! What is that? Nice! You got him!
No.
It's too late.
What are you doing? Beck! Don't do it! Excuse me, do you know where?
Lot of explaining to do.
No, listen.
Peter. Wow.
Stop hiding back!
Hey, do this. Just a kid.
Oh, my dears, settle in close, won't you? Tonight, we're not just peeking, we're diving headfirst into a truly marvelous, web-slinging, world-trotting adventure. It's the tale of Spider-Man Far From Home, and oh, what a journey it is. This movie, you see, takes our very own friendly neighborhood hero and lifts him right out of his comfy, familiar world, spinning him into a whirlwind of emotional turmoil, facing surprising new villains, and experiencing some truly thrilling growing pains after those absolutely colossal, universe-shaking events of Avengers Endgame. Imagine, if you will, the sheer excitement of discovering what lies beyond the horizon, of finding strength you never knew you possessed. If this little peek into such a grand adventure has sparked a twinkle in your eye, a little flutter in your heart, then do tap that magical like button and perhaps even subscribe to our storytelling circle. It's the most wonderful way to support our shared adventures, and let me know you're eager for more tales, more magic, and more thrilling journeys together. The air still hummed with a strange kind of static after the blip, that massive, universe-altering event where half of all life blinked out of existence, and then 5 years later just blinked back in. For Peter Parker, life was trying to find some semblance of normal amidst the chaotic return. The movie kicks off with a heartwarming, albeit slightly awkward, school broadcast. It's a tribute, a in memoriam video to the heroes who fell defending Earth, set to Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. Photos of Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, and Vision flash across the screen, each one pulling at the heartstrings, especially when it lands on Tony Stark's face. The sentiment is genuine, even if the musical choice felt a little too on the top, like a high school talent show trying to be profound. The camera then cuts to the students, back in their classrooms, trying to relearn physics or whatever teenagers do, and navigating the peculiar social dynamics of a world where half your classmates are 5 years older than they were a minute ago. It's an interesting societal shift, like everyone hit the snooze button on life, but only half the world actually woke up at the same time. Peter, still reeling from Tony's sacrifice, is back to being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, though the neighborhood now feels like the whole world is watching. Aunt May, ever the activist, is running a charity event for blip victims, which is both incredibly selfless and slightly embarrassing for Peter, especially when he arrives in his full Spider-Man suit, looking like he just crashed a fancy dress party. The bring your hero to work vibe is strong here, with May hilariously introducing him as her nephew, even though everyone knows who he is. There's a brilliant brief moment of Peter web-slinging across the city, the familiar thwip-slip of his webs cutting through the urban hum, as he takes down some low-level criminals. It's a stark reminder that even after saving the universe, someone still has to stop the guy trying to steal a bicycle. His life as Spider-Man is a constant juggle, a tightrope walk between being a superhero and just wanting to be a kid. His immediate goal, a normal summer vacation. Specifically, a school trip to Europe with his best friend Ned, Leeds, MJ, and the rest of his classmates. But more specifically, he wants to confess his feelings to MJ. He's got this whole elaborate plan involving a miniature black dahlia necklace timed perfectly for their visit to the Eiffel Tower. It's so meticulously planned, you can practically hear the romantic comedy trope alarm blaring. He packs his Spider-Man suit, then takes it out, then puts it back in a classic adolescent struggle. He wants to be Peter, not Spider-Man, just for a little while. The weight of Tony's legacy, the expectation that he's the next Iron Man is palpable, a heavy cloak he can't quite shed, even on vacation. He's trying to avoid Nick Fury's calls, letting them go straight to voicemail, which is probably a bad idea when the calls are from, Nick Fury. The phone's buzzing, a persistent, annoying fly in the ointment of his carefully laid plans for romance. Their trip begins in Venice, a beautiful city built on water, which naturally means it's the perfect target for a giant water monster. As the students enjoy the picturesque canals, suddenly the serenity is shattered. A massive water elemental, a swirling vortex of water and debris, erupts from the Grand Canal, its roaring gush echoing off the ancient buildings. The shrieks of the tourists blend with the crashing waves as the monster starts tearing through the city, sending gondolas flying and crumbling historical architecture into the canals with a deafening splash. This is not the cultural immersion Peter signed up for. He tries to stay hidden, to let someone else handle it, but the hero in him, or perhaps just the sheer panic of seeing his friends in danger, forces his hand. He quickly dons a makeshift mask, a Venetian carnival mask that looks vaguely like a sad clown, which adds a touch of ironic absurdity to the desperate situation. Suddenly, a new figure appears in the sky, a man in a bizarre fishbowl-like helmet and a flowing green cape, reminiscent of a fantastical warrior from another dimension. This is Quentin Beck, soon to be known as Mysterio. He swoops in, firing powerful green energy blasts that crackle through the air, hitting the elemental with surprising force. The ground trembles with each impact. Mysterio and Peter, still in his clown mask disguise, work together in a clumsy but effective duet against the monstrous water elemental. The elemental screams, a guttural, watery roar, as it finally dissipates into nothingness, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a lot of very wet, confused tourists. The entire event is a whirlwind of chaos, splashing water, the smell of damp stone, and the distant wail of sirens.
Later, in their hotel room, Peter is trying to process what just happened when Ned and Betty, now a couple, stumble in on him while he's changing, catching a glimpse of his Spidey suit. The secret is out, again, for another two people. It's a running gag with Peter, his secret identity being about as secret as a flash mob in Times Square. The next thing you know, he's being tranquilized by a dart, presumably from Nick Fury, which, let's be honest, is probably how Fury handles most uncooperative teenagers. Peter wakes up in a shadowy, high-tech bunker, smelling faintly of antiseptic and important secrets. He's face to face with Nick Fury and Maria Hill, looking as formidable and no-nonsense as ever. Fury, with his signature eye patch, levels him with a stare that could melt steel. The atmosphere is tense, the low hum of machinery filling the air. Fury lays out the situation. These elementals are multi-dimensional beings, refugees from a parallel Earth, a multiverse concept that Peter's head spins. He introduces Quentin Beck, who, according to Fury, is the last survivor of his Earth, a hero from an alternate reality where the elementals destroyed everything. Beck, with a somber, almost theatrical delivery, describes the elementals as manifestations of earth, wind, fire, and water, each one more devastating than the last. He explains that they're hunting for a powerful energy source, and that this Earth is their next target. The world building here is fascinating. The idea of countless parallel universes, each with its own history and tragedies, opens up a whole new canvas for the MCU. It expands the scope of threats beyond mere cosmic tyrants to existential interdimensional horrors. Peter is understandably overwhelmed. He just wants to go back to trying to hit on MJ, not save multiple realities. He even tries to pawn off the responsibility to Thor, which honestly is a completely valid suggestion. Fury, however, is having none of it. He's looking for the next Iron Man, and in his eyes, that's Peter. He hands Peter a new stealth suit, a sleek black number that looks like something out of a spy movie, designed to help him operate off the radar. The fabric feels smooth and light, almost imperceptible. He calls it Night Monkey, which Peter hates, but everyone else adopts with glee. It's the perfect representation of Peter's reluctant heroism, a cool new suit forced upon him, given a silly name by someone else. The next elemental threat is in Prague, a fire elemental, a swirling inferno of molten rock and flame, blazing with an intense orange glow. The heat radiates outward, making the air shimmer. This one is even more destructive than the water elemental, turning ancient cobblestone streets into rivers of lava and igniting buildings with a terrifying whoosh. Peter, now reluctantly sporting the Night Monkey suit, joins Mysterio in the fight. Mysterio, with his powerful energy blasts, seems to be the primary offensive force, while Spider-Man uses his agility and strength to protect civilians, pulling people out of harm's way with swift web zips. He leaps and dodges, the wind rushing past his ears as he weaves through collapsing debris. The roar of the fire elemental is immense, a hungry, consuming sound. The people of Prague flee in terror, their screams a backdrop to the crackle and boom of the battle. During the fight, Peter sees an opportunity to use a local fireworks display to augment Mysterio's powers, creating a dazzling, explosive distraction that allows Mysterio to deliver a final, seemingly devastating blow. The sky explodes with colors and brilliant flashes of light, and the fire elemental, after a mighty earth-shaking rumble, crumbles into a pile of cooling ash and rock. Mysterio is hailed as a global hero, his name echoing through news reports. The crowds cheer, the sound a wave of relief washing over the city. Peter, meanwhile, is still hiding in the shadows, unacknowledged, precisely as Fury wanted. He feels a strange mixture of relief and resentment. Relief that the job is done, resentment that he's still a secret, still not the hero he wants to be, or rather the normal kid he wants to be.
the success of the mission, and the perceived bravery of Mysterio leads to a moment of weakness for Peter. Overwhelmed by the pressure of Tony's legacy, the constant demands from Fury, and the sheer scale of the threats, Peter decides he's not cut out for the next Iron Man role. He looks up to Mysterio, sees him as a true hero, a successor to Tony Stark in a way he feels he can never be. He's at a local festival, the pulsating rhythm of electronic music filling the night air, colorful lights strobing around him. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and Mysterio just seems to handle it all with such confidence and ease. In a moment of profound trust and vulnerability, Peter decides to pass on Tony's last gift, Edith.
Edith, or Even Dead I'm the Hero, is an incredibly advanced AI embedded in a pair of stylish sunglasses. With a simple voice command, Peter can access a global drone network, sophisticated targeting systems, and virtually unlimited data. It's more than just a pair of glasses. It's a direct conduit to Stark's entire arsenal, an omnipotent surveillance system, a tactical war room on your face. He puts them on Mysterio, who takes them with an almost imperceptible smirk. The transfer of power is done in a quiet corner, the sounds of the festival a buzzing backdrop to this significant exchange. Peter feels a burden lift, a sense of immense relief washing over him, like he's finally dropped a 500-pound backpack. He genuinely believes he's done the right thing, that he's found someone more capable, more deserving of such immense power. Oh, Peter, sweet, naive Peter. This decision, as we soon discover, is probably the worst judgment call he's ever made, possibly even worse than revealing his identity to Ned in the first place, or perhaps a close second to bringing an alien symbiote to Earth. Meanwhile, MJ, ever the observant and slightly cynical academic, has been doing her own sleuthing. She notices odd things, like the elementals leaving no actual physical remains, only staged destruction, like really elaborate movie sets. Her keen eye for detail, her refusal to accept things at face value, makes her a perfect foil for Peter's often gullible nature. While exploring a destroyed building in Prague, she finds a projector, not a monster, and a strange metallic shard. It's not a piece of an interdimensional creature, it's a piece of high-tech machinery. The clink of the metal as it hits the ground is surprisingly loud in the quiet devastation. She confronts Peter with her findings, her voice low and serious, the suspicion clear in her eyes. The shard in her hand glints under the faint light. Peter, initially dismissive, is forced to confront the evidence. The projector, the stage destruction, the lack of actual casualties despite the immense visual damage. His mind starts connecting the dots, a creeping dread washing over him. He remembers Mysterio's theatrical flair, his almost too perfect explanations. The pieces start clicking into place with a chilling resonance, and the realization hits him like a punch to the gut. Mysterio isn't a hero. He's a con artist, a very, very elaborate con artist with an affinity for really expensive special effects.
The film then gives us the aha moment, the glorious reveal of Mysterio's true identity and plan. Quentin Beck isn't from a parallel Earth. He's a disgruntled former Stark Industries employee. He was a brilliant but egomaniacal illusion specialist responsible for the holographic projection technology Stark dismissed as BARF, binarily augmented retro framing, in Captain America: Civil War. Remember that moment? The one where Tony showed off his perfect emotional recreation of his parents? Yeah, that guy. Beck felt unappreciated, overlooked, and utterly scorned by Stark, who he saw as arrogant and condescending. He harbored a deep, burning resentment, a slow simmer that had finally boiled over. He orchestrated the entire elemental attack with a team of other disgruntled former Stark employees, a vision systems engineer, a drone specialist, a motion capture artist, and even the guy who designed the Iron Man suit's kill mode. Each one had their own grievance against Stark, their own axe to grind. They're all sitting in a high-tech bunker, not unlike the one Fury used, surrounded by monitors displaying the elemental attacks, laughing maniacally at their elaborate deception. Beck, without his fishbowl helmet, is a smarmy, self-satisfied narcissist, reveling in his newfound fame and the adoration of the world. He's like a villain who won the Oscar for Best Special Effects and then decided to use his talents for global manipulation. He basks in the glow of his media coverage, a twisted smile playing on his lips. Their modus operandi is ingenious, horrifyingly effective, and pure world-building goal. An army of advanced projection drones, each equipped with powerful holographic emitters and sophisticated sound systems. These drones project incredibly realistic 3D images onto the environment, creating the illusion of massive destructive creatures. They're not just visual, they incorporate haptic feedback, meaning the impacts and touches of the elementals feel real to anyone caught in their destructive path. It's augmented reality on a terrifying, city-destroying scale.
The sounds are deafening, the crashes and roars so convincing, they fool even Spider-Man's enhanced senses, blending seamlessly with the real sounds of explosions and crumbling buildings. The drones are controlled by Beck's team, who manipulate the narrative in real time. They feed carefully crafted stories to news agencies, making Mysterio out to be the greatest hero since sliced bread, a savior from another dimension who tragically lost everything. It's a masterclass in media manipulation, showcasing how easily public perception can be shaped in a post-truth world, especially when you have incredibly convincing visuals and a good sob story. Beck's ultimate goal is not just fame, but to become the world's most celebrated hero, filling the void left by Iron Man, and by extension, replacing the entire Avengers roster. He wants to be the new face of heroism, powered by a massive ego and an army of drones. And now, thanks to Peter's naive generosity, he has access to Edith, giving him global surveillance and an even larger drone network to command. The low, whirring hum of the drones is almost imperceptible, yet they are everywhere, silent, deadly architects of illusion. Peter, now knowing the truth, tries desperately to warn Nick Fury. He's pacing back and forth, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs, the words tumbling out in a torrent of urgent whispers. He tries calling Fury, but the calls go straight to voicemail. He tries Maria Hill, same result. The irony is excruciating. The same people he tried to avoid are now the ones he desperately needs to reach. Then Mysterio intercepts him. Beck uses the full force of his illusion technology to gaslight Peter, to make him doubt his own sanity. Peter finds himself trapped in a nightmarish series of illusions, a terrifying psychological torture chamber. He's back in the devastated landscape of the Venice battle, the air thick with dust and the smell of ozone. He sees distorted reflections of himself, menacing versions of his friends, and most chillingly, a zombified Iron Man bursting from his grave, covered in decaying flesh and snapping at him with a metallic clang of an open maw. The gurgling, rasping sounds of the undead Stark fill the air, sending shivers down Peter's spine. Each illusion is designed to exploit Peter's deepest fears and insecurities, his guilt over Tony's death, his fear of not being good enough, his constant struggle with self-doubt. The visual distortions make the ground feel unstable, the air thick and disorienting. He crashes through imaginary walls, the phantom pain stinging his body, the whoosh of ghostly apparitions brushing past him. Mysterio's voice, distorted and menacing, echoes through the illusions, taunting Peter, questioning his worth, eroding his confidence. Peter is thrown from one scenario to another, each more terrifying than the last, his spider sense, his Peter tingle, as he calls it, screaming at him, but unable to pinpoint the true threat amidst the barrage of fake sensory input. It's a dizzying, disorienting assault, a testament to the power of Beck's technology and his understanding of human psychology. The sheer volume of visual and auditory information overwhelms Peter, making it impossible to distinguish reality from the carefully crafted deception. The metallic clang of the drone's hidden mechanisms is completely masked by the roaring fires and crashing debris. In a particularly cruel sequence, Mysterio creates an illusion of a train bearing down on Peter. Peter is trapped on the tracks, the ground vibrating violently beneath his feet, the screech of metal on metal deafening. He braces for impact, only to be hit by a real train, an actual physical train that wasn't part of the illusion, but was just there. The crack of his body against the metal, the jarring impact is painfully real. This isn't just mind games, it's physically devastating. He's left broken and battered on the tracks, the metallic taste of blood in his mouth, the world spinning. He's been hit by an actual train, a real train. That's just rude. Peter, severely injured but fueled by a desperate need for survival, crawls his way out of the train wreck, the pain a dull throb throughout his body. He's disoriented, his suit torn, and his mind reeling from the psychological torment. He's been utterly humiliated and brutalized. He makes a desperate, limping journey across Europe, hitchhiking and scrambling, determined to reach Happy Hogan, his last remaining connection to Tony Stark. Happy, loyal, and perpetually stressed, is traveling with Peter's Aunt May and the other students, a chaperone who's clearly out of his element. He receives Peter's distress call, a garbled, urgent message that immediately puts him on high alert. Happy flies his private jet, a sleek, humming marvel of Stark tech, to pick Peter up. The jet's engines hum with a quiet power as it slices through the night sky.
In a moment of genuine vulnerability and emotional release, Peter confesses everything to Happy, the raw honesty of his fear and guilt pouring out. He admits his mistake, the crushing weight of believing he wasn't worthy of Tony's legacy, and the naive decision to give Edith away. Happy, ever the gruff but secretly caring father figure, reassures Peter, reminding him that Tony chose him for a reason. He helps Peter understand that it wasn't about being the next Iron Man, but about being Peter Parker, about using his own unique abilities and his own heart. The conversation is punctuated by the soft whirring of the jet's internal systems, a quiet comfort in the high-stakes drama. It's a poignant moment of mentorship, a quiet passing of the emotional torch. Happy even plays AC/DC, because of course he does. On the jet, Peter begins to design a new Spider-Man suit. This isn't just a costume, it's a statement. It's his suit, not a hand-me-down, not a stealth suit forced on him by Fury. He uses Stark's advanced fabrication tools, the whirring and buzzing of the machinery a creative symphony. He meticulously selects materials, adjusting designs on a holographic interface, the digital schematics floating in the air before him. The suit is a blend of the classic red and blue, but with enhanced armor, a more streamlined look, and subtle tech integrations. It's a physical manifestation of his growth, a declaration that he's stepping into his own, combining his innate abilities with the resources Tony left him. The gentle hum of the jet's engines is the only sound as he works, completely focused, the metallic click of his fingers on the interface the only interruption. He finally understands that being Spider-Man isn't about fitting into someone else's shoes, but about creating his own. Their destination is London, specifically the Tower Bridge, where Mysterio plans his grand finale. He's concocted an elemental fusion, a monstrous amalgamation of all four elements, designed to be his most devastating and triumphant act yet. This is where he will solidify his image as the world's greatest hero, defeating a threat of his own making, a dramatic flourish that will secure his legacy, and most importantly, Edith's global network.
The battle on Tower Bridge is a magnificent spectacle of controlled chaos and devastating illusions. Mysterio's army of drones descends on the bridge, projecting the colossal, terrifying image of the elemental fusion. It roars, a deafening cacophony of wind, fire, water, and earth, its immense form towering over the iconic landmark. The drone's projectors create the illusion of crumbling stone, fiery blasts, and tidal waves, all designed to immerse the public in the terror of the moment. The air is thick with the smell of simulated smoke and ozone. The sounds of destruction are all around, an overwhelming sensory overload. The real drones, thousands of them, are almost invisible amidst the chaos, their metallic hum masked by the thunderous illusion. They are the true threat, delivering real, physical damage to the bridge and anything that gets in their way, while simultaneously projecting the fake monster. Peter, now in his newly forged suit, swings into action, the confident thwip-thwip of his webs a stark contrast to his earlier reluctance. He's not just fighting an illusion, he's fighting this. The battle on Tower Bridge is a magnificent spectacle of controlled chaos and devastating illusions. Mysterio's army of drones descends on the bridge, projecting the colossal, terrifying image of the elemental fusion. It roars, a deafening cacophony of wind, fire, water, and earth, its immense form towering over the iconic landmark. The drone's projectors create the illusion of crumbling stone, fiery blasts, and tidal waves, all designed to immerse the public in the terror of the moment. The air is thick with the smell of simulated smoke and ozone. The sounds of destruction are all around, an overwhelming sensory overload. The real drones, thousands of them, are almost invisible amidst the chaos, their metallic hum masked by the thunderous illusion. They are the true threat, delivering real, physical damage to the bridge and anything that gets in their way, while simultaneously projecting the fake monster. Peter, now in his newly forged suit, swings into action, the confident thwip-thwip of his webs a stark contrast to his earlier reluctance. He's not just fighting an illusion, he's fighting the source of the illusion. He uses his spider sense, his Peter tingle, to track the drones themselves, distinguishing the real threat from the projected images. He's listening for the subtle mechanical whir of the drones, the telltale signs that betray their presence within the overwhelming visual and auditory deception. He zips through the air, dodging holographic fireballs and invisible drone attacks, the wind rushing past his ears. He focuses on the small, almost imperceptible glints of light that reflect off the drones' metallic bodies. Each punch, each web shot is aimed at the true targets, the drones, rather than the fake monster. Meanwhile, Happy, with his newfound courage and a small iron suit, similar to the one he used in Iron Man 3, albeit a slightly clunkier version, helps to protect the students. He's not exactly Iron Man, more like Iron Man's slightly out of shape, perpetually exasperated best friend, but he's doing his best.
He's taking a beating, the metallic clang of impacts on his suit echoing with each hit from the drones. He uses a school bus as a shield, orchestrating an escape for the kids, his voice hoarse with urgency as he barks orders. The students, including MJ, Ned, and Flash, are caught in the crossfire, their screams blending with the roar of the fake monster. MJ, ever resourceful, manages to open a door in the bus, giving the other students an escape route, while she focuses on trying to help Peter in her own way.
The climax of the battle sees Peter confronting Beck directly. Beck, wearing his helmet, is convinced he's won, basking in the adoration of the public and the success of his ultimate illusion. He unleashes a final, overwhelming barrage of illusions, trying to disorient Peter. The world spins around Peter, images of his past failures, his friends in peril, Tony Stark's face, all flicker and dance before his eyes. The ground beneath him seems to evaporate, only to reappear in a different location. But Peter, now empowered by his earlier conversation with Happy and his trust in his own senses, pushes through. He closes his eyes, focusing purely on his spider sense, the distinct tingle guiding him through the visual noise. He hears the faint, almost imperceptible whirring of the drones, the subtle click of their moving parts, the sounds completely obscured by the booming soundtrack of Mysterio's performance. With his eyes still closed, he feels a slight vibration, a subtle shift in the air, indicating Beck's true position. He opens his eyes, seeing through the final layer of deception, zeroing in on the real Beck amongst the numerous holograms. Peter dodges a final, powerful illusionary blast, the heat of the fake fire brushing his cheek, and then, with a swift, decisive motion, he webs Beck, pulling him close. He demands that Beck relinquish Edith's control. Beck, ever the showman, tries one last trick, creating a holographic version of himself to fake surrender. But Peter, now wise to his tricks, uses his spider sense, the tingling sensation at the back of his head, to predict the attack. He lets the holographic Beck approach, waiting for the real one, who lunges from the side, armed with a hidden pistol. Peter's quick reflexes allow him to disarm Beck, the metallic click of the gun hitting the ground. In the ensuing struggle, Beck is accidentally shot by one of his own drones, a fatal blow that ends his reign of terror. The drones, now without their master, begin to disengage, their whirring coming to a halt. The monstrous elemental fusion flickers and fades, revealing a severely damaged tower bridge and the confused but relieved faces of the public. Peter reclaims Edith, shutting down the entire drone network with a firm, simple command. The silence after the drone's power down is almost deafening, a sudden absence of the cacophony that had filled the air. He stands victorious, not as the next Iron Man, but as himself, the real Spider-Man. The sounds of distant sirens begin to fill the void, signaling the arrival of real emergency services.
In the aftermath, Peter and MJ finally have their moment. They're sitting amidst the wreckage, the air still smelling of smoke and dust, the sounds of distant cleanup operations filling the quiet. Peter, bruised but triumphant, finally tells MJ how he feels, without the pressure of a grand scheme or a perfect Parisian backdrop. She reciprocates, a small, genuine smile gracing her lips, and they share a sweet, if slightly awkward kiss. It's a quiet, tender moment amidst the recent chaos, a testament to their growing bond. The world may be falling apart, but for a moment, their own small corner of it feels perfectly in sync. The school trip concludes and everyone returns to New York. Peter is back in his element, swinging through the city, the familiar rush of wind against his face, the thwip-thwip of his webs a comforting rhythm. He's reunited with Aunt May and Happy, and things seem, for a brief, glorious moment, to be returning to a semblance of normal. However, just when you think the ride is over, Marvel pulls another fast one. In a shocking mid-credit scene, Peter and MJ are swinging through the city, their laughter echoing through the urban canyon, when they land in front of a giant screen in Times Square. Suddenly, the screen comes to life, showing a breaking news report from none other than J. Jonah Jameson, played by the legendary J.K. Simmons, reprising his iconic role from the Raimi films. His voice is a booming, furious roar, a familiar, exasperated growl. He's the editor-in-chief of thedailybugle.net, a new sensationalist online news outlet, effectively positioning him as a kind of Alex Jones-esque conspiracy theorist in the MCU. Jameson, ever the anti-Spider-Man propagandist, plays a doctored video from Mysterio, posthumously revealing Peter Parker's secret identity to the entire world. Mysterio, in this manipulated footage, frames Spider-Man as the true villain behind the elemental attacks, and in his dying breath reveals Peter Parker's face to the entire planet. The screen flashes Peter's face, unmasked, for everyone to see. Peter and MJ stand there, utterly stunned, their smiles replaced by wide-eyed horror. The crowd in Times Square gasps, their murmurs growing into a cacophony of confused and angry shouts. The whirring of the digital billboard as it transitions from the news report to Peter's unmasked face is almost audible. It's a gut punch of an ending, a game changer that completely upends Peter's life, transforming him from a secret superhero into a global, unmasked pariah. The implications are enormous, the reverberations of this revelation setting up an entirely new chapter for Spider-Man.
And then, just to twist the knife a little further, there's a post-credit scene. We see Nick Fury and Maria Hill driving along, seemingly discussing the events. But then, in a classic Marvel twist, they reveal themselves to be Talos and Soren, the Skrull shapeshifters we met in Captain Marvel. Talos, exhausted and clearly fed up, contacts the real Nick Fury, who is lounging on a Skrull spaceship enjoying a tropical vacation illusion. The whirring and beeping of the alien technology on the ship is subtle, futuristic. He's apparently been on vacation this whole time, letting Talos handle Earth duties, which explains Fury's slightly off-kilter behavior throughout the film. It's a delightful, universe-expanding reveal, cementing the Skrulls' presence on Earth as benevolent allies, and implying a much larger cosmic game at play beyond what Earth's heroes usually deal with. It adds an extra layer of world-building, showing that even the most grounded narratives in the MCU are always connected to the grander, more expansive cosmic tapestry. The distant, faint hum of the spaceship's engines is the final sound, hinting at adventures far beyond our planet. This film truly dives into the concept of a post-blip world and the lasting legacy of Iron Man. It meticulously details how cutting-edge technology, particularly Edith and Mysterio's drones, can shape realities and perceptions, highlighting the vulnerability of a society reliant on visual information. It shows us how power can corrupt and how heroism can be manufactured, exploring the very rules of the MCU's evolving societal and technological landscape. Spider-Man: Far From Home, at its core, is a deeply personal story about stepping out of a monumental shadow, finding your own path, and accepting the weight of responsibility that comes with great power. It's about learning to trust yourself, to listen to that gut feeling, and to understand that the greatest strength comes not from mimicking others, but from embracing your own unique identity. Peter's journey is a powerful reminder that true heroism is about authenticity, resilience, and the courage to face impossible odds, even when the whole world is watching and expecting you to be someone else. Spider-Man: Far From Home is a perfect blend of high-stakes action, genuine teen drama, and brilliant special effects, all wrapped up in a package that grapples with profound themes of identity and legacy. It's a thrilling ride that pushes Peter Parker into uncharted territory, leaving audiences on the edge of their seats with that jaw-dropping ending, a fantastic bridge from the Infinity Saga to whatever comes next.